When the police arrived at the indicated location, they had no idea what they were about to find. A disfigured body, inside a suitcase abandoned in the woods. But what shocked the world wasn't just the brutality of the act. It was the perpetrator, a man with a fragile appearance, soft voice, and polite demeanor. An exemplary student, educated, well-dressed. He didn't look like a killer, much less a monster. His name, Issei Sagawa. But that name would come to represent something far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. He didn't just commit the crime, he was proud of it. And worse, he was rewarded for it. This is the story of how a man took a life in the most cruel way, and even so became a celebrity in Japan. Get ready, because what you're about to see is simply unforgivable. Issei was born into an extremely wealthy family. His father was the president of a major company in Japan, with political connections and a great deal of power. From a very young age, Issei knew he was different. At just 6 years old, he had the first impulse that would change the course of his entire life. He saw a classmate's leg and felt the urge to eat it. Over time, he realized this wasn't just a strange fantasy. It was an obsession. Issei didn't see himself as a predator. On the contrary, he saw himself as fragile, small, almost invisible. And he believed that by consuming a beautiful woman, he would absorb her strength, her energy, her presence. He didn't just want flesh, he wanted existence. As an adult, Issei moved to France to study literature at the Sorbonne. It was an attempt to start over, but the obsession never left. On the contrary, it took on new forms. Issei began spending time in libraries and approaching foreign women. He no longer just fantasized, he planned. In his mind, he needed to find a specific kind of woman. Beautiful, healthy, with European features. And more importantly, someone who would trust him. He claimed that only then would the ritual work. The victim had to surrender, even if she didn't know what was coming. In 1981, Issei met a Dutch classmate. She was kind, polite, and exactly the type he had been looking for. He slowly approached her, complimenting her intelligence and looks, until he invited her to help with some reading and translation work at his apartment. She agreed. The plan was in motion. Upon arriving, she sat down to read poems out loud. Issei was behind her, and then, without hesitation, he did what he had been planning for years. The darkest moment of his life had begun, but what came next, even he couldn't predict. Issei fled. But it didn't take long for the police to find him. What they discovered was so different that investigators questioned whether he truly understood what he had done. The case made headlines across France, but the most shocking part was still to come. Issei was declared legally unfit to stand trial. They claimed he lacked the mental capacity to face a courtroom, so he was deported to Japan. And there, what was supposed to be a new trial never happened. Time passed, and what should have been oblivion became a stage. Issei Sagawa became a kind of celebrity in Japan. He gave interviews, appeared on talk shows, and even wrote books detailing everything he did. Some publishers made thousands of dollars. A rock band wrote songs about him. A director made a movie. Instead of remorse, he got the spotlight. Instead of justice, he gained fans. But time demands payment. Sagawa grew old, and the same shows that once praised him started to ignore him. Interest turned to disdain, and what he craved the most, attention, vanished. Sagawa became ill, lost his mobility, and spent his final years depending on others for everything. He died at 73, isolated, forgotten, and perhaps, for the first time, tasting the bitter flavor of consequence.